The office coordinator held up a thick printed binder on my first morning and announced, "Every employee's home address goes in the staff directory, no exceptions." She had no idea that one address in that binder could get me killed. I'd moved 3 states away to take this job. New city, new apartment, new everything. The only thing I hadn't changed was my name, because I couldn't. But my address was sealed, legally, through the state's confidentiality program for people fleeing violence. On paper, I don't have a home address. I have a state-run P.O. box that forwards my mail, so no one can ever trace where I actually sleep. HR had been told. I'd filed the paperwork weeks before my start date. The recruiter assured me it was flagged, that I'd be kept off any public lists, that I was safe here. It had taken me a year to feel like I could exhale. This job was supposed to be the start of a life that was finally mine. Then I met Ms. Dillard. She ran office administration like it was still 1985. Printed directories, a laminated seating chart, everyone's home address, and personal cell in one binder she passed around, so the team feels like family. When I quietly asked her before the meeting to please leave my address off, she didn't look up from her label maker. "I've done this for 23 years, she said. "Everybody's in the book. No special treatment. If I start making exceptions, where does it end?" I told her it was important, that I couldn't fully explain why, but I needed her to trust me on this one thing. She sighed the way people do when they've already decided you're being difficult. "This is a workplace. We share basic contact information like adults. You're not the first person who wants to feel mysterious." She had no idea. She couldn't have. But she also didn't care enough to wonder why my hands were shaking. The reason I was in that program was a man 2 states away, under a 5-year protective order. Someone who'd put me in the hospital twice, and who told me the last time that there was nowhere I could go that he wouldn't find me. I believed him. That belief is the only reason I'm still alive. "I really need you to listen," I said, standing up now. "Please don't put my address anywhere." She looked at me like I was making a scene on my first day. Then she turned to her computer, attached the finished directory, my sealed address sitting in it, plain as anything, and sent it to the entire company. 240 people. Some of them remote, in cities I'd never been to. Any one of them could forward it. Any one of them could know someone who knew him. Any one of them could put my street and unit number 1 screenshot away from the person I'd spent a year hiding from. 8 months of safety, gone with one click. Ms. Dillard smiled, satisfied. There. Was that so hard? Now we're all on the same page. Then the door opened. Our head of corporate security walked in fast. A woman named Reyes I'd met exactly once when she'd personally set up my confidentiality file. She had her phone in her hand and the all-staff email open on the screen. Her eyes went to me, then to Ms. Dillard, and went flat. "Who authorized this directory?" Ms. Dillard straightened, almost proud. "I did. It's standard procedure. That employee is enrolled in the state's address confidentiality program," Reyes said, in the kind of quiet that's worse than shouting. "Their address is protected by law. It was flagged in the system. Red banner, top of the file, impossible to miss if you had opened it." Ms. Dillard's mouth opened. I didn't know, because you didn't ask." Reyes lifted the binder off the table. "You decided that 23 years of a paper directory mattered more than a court-ordered protection you never bothered to read, and you just emailed a protected address to 240 people." She turned to me, and her voice dropped, gentler, but no less urgent. "Get your things. We're recalling the email and moving you to a secure remote setup today. Don't go back to your apartment until I call you." I grabbed my bag. I hadn't even set up my desk. I hadn't even hung up my coat. A younger coworker whispered, "I'm so sorry," as I passed. I couldn't answer. In the elevator, Reyes was already on the phone. "Legal, the recall, my detective back home. This should never have happened," she said quietly. I nodded. I'd rebuilt my whole life from nothing once already, and now I was going to do it again, because a woman with a label maker decided her binder mattered more than my life.